picture this. I'm a full-blown tweaker. I'm at my house. I know I got to get to school. I knew this was going to be overwhelming. I'm an artist. I'm going to the Art Institute. I got to get to school, but I got to get one more hit off the Pookie, just one more hit. And then I find myself there for a little bit too long. One more hit and another hit and then another hit. Oh my God, I'm running late. I get in my car. I got a bungee cord that's holding on the hood of my car because of something that happened, like something, the hinge snapped last time. So now I got this bungee cord. It's holding the hood of my car. I'm cruising up the road. I'm thinking, there's the highway. Got to get on the freeway. I get on the freeway. I'm doing 110. And all of a sudden, the bungee cord just snaps. And the hood goes into the windshield. And the windshield just shatters. And I'm thinking, I'm going to be late for school. I can't deal with this. I'm gripping the steering wheel. I'm pulling over the car. Now I got to fix this. This was like a Tuesday in this tweaker's life back when I was on. Hello, my name is Pej, and I am an interventionist who specializes in both substance abuse and mental health disorders. I am 13 and a half years sober. I used to do a lot of meth. I did a lot of drugs. I want to talk a little bit about meth today. So my experience with meth was that obviously when I was younger, it wasn't the first drug that I first started. You know, it started with weed and some alcohol, but then down the line, I started, messing around with cocaine a little bit. And I had body dysmorphia. I know that. I was trying to do steroids to enhance my outer appearance, cosmetically. I never felt like I was enough. And when I would get off the steroids, I started losing I wanted to lose a lot of weight because I was gaining a lot of weight as a result of eating too much and smoking too much pot. And so I noticed that a lot of people that were in our school that were actively using were getting into meth. And back then it was just called crank or crystal meth. And you snorted it. And so I got my hand on some of it. And when I would do it, it would make me lose a ton of weight. And it would also keep me up for endless hours. And it made me slim down. And I kind of had like that chic methamphetamine physique. At least that's what I thought in my convoluted thought process in mind. And so, it wasn't like a physical addiction, although I do believe that when it comes to mental being part of the physical, I would need it mentally to keep going and keep going. And I would lose track of time. I would lose track of how much I would eat. I was malnourished. I was in need of water, probably a lot, And often if I was up for many, many hours, I would sometimes wake up in strange places. Sometimes, just pull the car over and go somewhere in some parking lot in the middle of LA, somewhere, middle of nowhere, and just wake up and think, where am I? Like, be all groggy and everything. And that was kind of like my first stint with meth in snorting it. And when you do it, it's like, it's no joke. Like when you do a line of like crystal meth, like it feels like somebody just shoves a pencil all the way up your nose and like pulls it out real quick. And that pain is there for about, a good minute and a half, to where you have to like kind of gather the feeling of your mucus and your like the inner cavity of your nose. And then afterwards, like you really feel the euphoria, and it feels like the first few times that you do it, like you can just conquer anything. Like you're on top of the world. And that's really like, I think what captivates the addict's mindset, to where they think like, I need more of this. I got to do this all the time. And that was me. Like I was not only trying to do it to lose weight, which initially I really was trying to do it to lose weight, but also because like you can stay up for a lot of hours and you have a major sex drive and then you start, doing things, going on adventures, meth adventures, if you will. And also it makes you, whatever they put in that stuff, which is some pretty amazing, like if you really knew the type of stuff that they put in methamphetamines to make it, it makes you, it changes your character. And so at the time, like I wasn't really this conniving, devious individual until I really got into meth. And then you go into like the underbelly of the beast, into this different type of tweaker world, if you will. And that was my lifestyle for a while. And I remember like being like about 20 years old and getting tired of it. But I thought I was sobering up, and I made this decision within myself, like a pact, like I'm going to quit doing meth, but I'm only going to do other drugs. So I quit doing meth for about 3 or 4 years. And I wouldn't even allow tweakers to come to my apartment. Like when people would come over and they had meth, I'd tell them, you guys can't come with that stuff. You can come with the ecstasy, you can come with the weed, but I don't want any of that meth stuff. That stuff is the devil's dandruff. It's evil. Don't bring it around me. And then fast forward, like when I got into my later 20s, I got the opportunity to start taking some stuff that they called ice, which I didn't really know what it was, but I could take it down my pants. This is like before 9/11, down my pants to Hawaii to transport out there and make a whole bunch of money and distribute it amongst people in Hawaii, not really knowing like what I was in for. But I do remember like when I got off the plane and I pulled all of this stuff out of my underwear and I looked at it, like I opened it for a second and it looked like diamonds, and it looked a lot different than the meth that I was using before. I didn't know that this was like the highest, most potent form of meth, which they called ice. And I remember like my conscience told me, I wonder how many lives I'm ruining with this stuff out here. I wonder, and I went and distributed it to the people that had me take it out there. They paid me a lot of money, and I did that a few times until a friend of mine who was actually, so-called friend, was actually caught up in the same type of game, got arrested in Honolulu airport, and so I decided to not go out there anymore. But they say don't get high off your own supply. Now I had the supply, and I started to do it myself. I was in a relationship with somebody. It was a new relationship. She was just getting into meth. I hadn't even tried it yet. I was in the transportation of taking it to Hawaii. I hadn't even tried it yet. But I remember when she caught wind of the fact that I had this stuff, I remember thinking like, either I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to do it and I'm going to join her. Or once I was getting into it, I started actually doing it. And I thought, I got to quit because I'm becoming a tweaker again. I was against this stuff. And before you knew it, I was full-fledged, up to my neck, doing meth all the time. And that just went on for many, many years. And I started getting into a lot of problems, like a lot of trouble, with the law, because I was transporting it, I was distributing it. We were going to start manufacturing it. And before you knew it, I couldn't even stop. I was always tweaking. I was up for days and days. I'm talking like sometimes up to a week, to the point where a lot of different episodes would happen. I was going on high-speed car chases. I wasn't in my right mind. I was a full-blown tweaker, hanging out in very sordid places. I would go to motels and be amongst other people that were tweakers. I didn't trust them. They didn't trust me, but we always needed to get more meth. And that was just like a lifestyle. I'm sure some of you can relate to that. And so I became homeless. By the time I was 35 years old, I became homeless. My family wasn't talking to me anymore. They actually changed the locks on their houses because they didn't trust me around them. And I was living out of my car, and I was a homeless man. And I tried to go and sober up, and I went to a friend's house, and I slept a lot on his couch, but I had no concept of how to actually get sober. I would say, and I have no hesitation in saying this, that meth was my demise. It brought me to my knees. I did a lot of other drugs throughout my using career, but meth was the devil. I'm talking like it was demonic. It brought the demons out of me. It brought the demons out of the people that were closest to me that were using it too. And a lot of evil surrounds itself around meth. Like, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust myself. Nobody trusts me. That's the meth world. It's just a dirty, dirty, gross underbelly of the beast type of world. And nowadays, like, now that I've been sober for a long time, I work in the field of addiction, and I see, a lot of kids these days are mostly getting into fentanyl and heroin, like the ones that are between 18 and 30 years old. But every so often you'll get some kids that are goofballing it. They're mixing like heroin and meth. And then sometimes you get full-blown tweaker kids, like kids that are doing lots of meth, and that's just a lifestyle for them. And I got a kid right now that often will send me these videos of him like hitting the pookie, and I just tell him like, yeah, that was my old lifestyle. I don't do that anymore. If you want help, like, I'm here for you, but otherwise, like, you don't need to share that stuff with me. It's all good, right? So it definitely, once you actually break from the clutches of addiction of meth and come on the path of recovery, it's such a relief that you don't have to be a slave to the pipe, to the needle, to eating it, however you do meth. I remember there were so many different ways of doing meth, and I did them all. So if you want recovery, it's there. We're here for you. We're waiting for you. We need people to come to the other side and quit drowning in that, the abyss of methamphetamine addiction. What is meth like, and how does it make you feel? Well, there's so many different variables. I mean, when you first do meth, like right in the beginning, it makes you feel really good. It makes you feel euphoric. It makes you feel like you can conquer the world. It makes you feel productive. It makes you feel like you got to do a bunch of stuff. You got to get everything done. It makes you feel like you got it all figured out. It makes you also feel in different ways after you're coming down from it, sort of like you're not feeling all that good, like you need to get some more in you. So then before you know it, how does it make you feel? After many, many days of being up on it, then you start becoming sucked up. You don't have enough nutrition. You don't have, you're malnutrition. You don't have enough water and you don't have enough sleep. Then you're sleep deprived. Then how does it make you feel? You either need more to keep going, or you start hallucinating, or you start being up for too long. You start getting paranoid. You might experience a little bit of psychosis. That's how meth can make you feel. Like I said, there's different variables. My wildest experience while using meth was that, I was at a house. It was a trap house. We were all looking out the window. We were thinking that there was shadow people. We were thinking that we were being watched. We would see helicopters at night. We would think that it was the cops. And then finally it happened. The town was dry. I was about to get a nice, big, huge load of meth. And I was at the house. Somehow I became a DJ in the mix. I'm spinning records in the back of this little tweaker garage. And I got my girlfriend there. Her name is Kathy. And I turn off the music for 1 second. And I told her, Kathy, did you hear that? And she said, hear what? And I said, I hear voices. She said, Pej, you always hear voices. I'm like, no. I swear to God, this time it's real voices. It's like real men's voices. I'm telling you right now. I know I've been up for a while, but this is real. She goes, just open it. It's probably just your neighbor. Just open it. Just push the button. So I pushed the button and all of a sudden there they are. It was the Methamphetamine Task Force. They had come to raid me. They were in all their riot gear and they said, hi, Pej. And they took me up into the house. They had me handcuffed in the living room. They had her hogtied on the floor and they were searching the whole place. And then they took me to jail. That was one of the most craziest experiences I experienced on meth. It was real. It really happened. So after the cops put me in jail, I get my bottom bunk. I close my eyes. I look up and I noticed that somebody had written, even though they say you're paranoid, doesn't mean that they're not watching. And I thought, see, they know. How can somebody recover from meth addiction? Well, for one, you're going to have to make an absolute decision to quit. For two, there's going to be a lot of sleep involved because when you're up for a long time, you're sleep deprived, so you need to land the ship. For three, you need to find somebody who's on the path of recovery that can help you get recovered. If you like the content that was here today, check us out here, or you can give us a call here, leave us a message, and we'll get back to you, or you can leave a message down in the comment box.